Hello everybody and welcome to your Predecessor action. Here at the start of Predecessor, you do pick a starter item. This starter item levels up with you. It's kind of one of the unique parts of this game. You have 5 item slots, and that's going to be a traditional kind of MOBA store. You'll be able to see all the items here. But it also has a starter item, and that starter item levels up as you kill creatures in the lane, as you do damage to enemy heroes. And then eventually it does become an active item, and it gives you some sort of benefit, a sprint, a blink, something like that. There is also a built-in blink in this game, which I definitely knew about and definitely didn't play a whole game without realizing it was in the game. But if you look down the UI bar, it defaults to the key binding 4, and that is a 5-minute long blink. It is essentially Flash from League of Legends that are familiar. Now I need to look at what Howie does. Howie's passive, next basic attack deals bonus magical damage around the target, restores damage as mana, increasing 50% against heroes. Reduced for 5 seconds every time you use an ability. Fires a long-range missile that explodes on impact. Cluster of proximity bombs that explode as people enter the zone. Lobs a mine that explodes after dealing damage. They are knocked back. Okay, well, Howie Q. So Howie is in both Overprime and Predecessor. He is one of the characters they have opted to both make. So I am a little excited to, wow, that is a long range, and I'm excited to test him out and see how he's feeling right now, because he was one of my favorite heroes in Overprime. Wow, that missile looks like it goes a very long way. You just gotta aim it. One interesting thing, oh, there was that AoE damage. I kind of wanted to throw out this mine to see how it goes. If I click it again, does it explode? It sure does. What they really used. One of the interesting things about Predecessor is that the HP pots and wards are built in. So they are both built in. I wonder if I can actually hold that ability and aim it a little bit longer. I kind of think I could. So you can see if I press 1, that is going to be a health pot. You sure can hold it and aim it. It does eventually go on its own, but you sure can hold it and aim it. Knocking back enemy heroes, and Howie caught in the blast. How far was this gonna knock me backwards? A respectable little amount, nothing too crazy. So my Q should still be my boom, and you can actually hover in the air when you're holding that Q as well. So it gives you an extra second of just kind of sitting in the air and holding, which is interesting. You do have an AoE auto every 15 seconds or so. Doesn't seem to be any mana potions in this game. It looks like you start with an HP pot, and it doesn't look like, well, maybe actually. You know what? Now that I say that, I know that you can change your ward. You can either put down a ward, or you can basically make yourself a sentry ward and go around and counter other wards. So I wonder if you can swap out the HP pot for a mana pot. I'm just gonna back up just so I can go look at the store and see. If I click down here on my potion, there's a vision tab up top. Nope, doesn't look like you can, because you can see the vision tab. You can switch it over to be a sentry ward. Don't seem to have that option on the health potion. For those that kind of just want to know the quick highlights and differences between the games, I'm just going to kind of go through them. You might already know this information, but you might not. Predecessor is officially releasing into early access on December 1st. It will be a paid early access. That is $10 dues if you want to play in it. You can spend more money and you get more stuff. You'll get like some skins and some in-game currency. But in order to play, you will have to spend a minimum of $10. And it gives you essentially all of the heroes that are available, which is 20 heroes. That is going to be compared to Overprime. Overprime is coming out December 8th. and it will be free to play. And there will be about 25 or so heroes. Maybe there's like 26, 27, 28, somewhere around there. Maybe, actually, no, I think it was 30. I think it was exactly 30. So there are more heroes in Overprime. I will say that graphically speaking, Overprime looks slightly better, but Overprime also has a blurry thing on it. I don't really know how to describe it other than Overprime is kind of blurry, like a blurry filter almost. It's almost like a makeup filter that you would see on somebody. Overprime, or Predecessor does not have that. Predecessor the graphics are a lot more sharp, I would say. No, thank you. And that is why we use that little flicker. You can see that my teleport, my blink, my flash, whatever you want to call it, is now in cooldown for a solid 5 minutes. That's a hefty length of time. Predecessor will not be launching with a ranked mode. Overprime will. Overprime, in my experience, the servers were a lot more iffy. So far, my FPS, the optimization that I have experienced in Predecessor seems to be a lot better than in Overprime. The servers themselves, my ping seems to be a lot more responsive. And both of those things are very important to me, so I'd give the edge to Predecessor on that front. I am a little bit concerned. I am a little bit concerned about the paid early access. I think that $10 should be... I'm going to go for the ulti because I don't really know how this works. Wow. That is a very different ulti than it is in Overprime for him. That's more of kind of like an auto lock-on, kind of slap ya, wreck ya type ultimate right there. That's almost like... I wouldn't want to say it was auto lock-on, but it was almost auto lock-off. Throw stuff in the sky, move freely, rains down missiles. Utilize laser guidance to home torch. They sure do. They sure do have some sort of laser guided system on them. Okay. That is a very strong ability. That's going to let you do a lot of nukes. Looks like your standard missile launch is going to be the ability that you level first up here on Howie. Probably going to be ulti, Q. Then depending on how the cooldown works, the landmine, it might be E or right click after that. We'll have to see which one feels a little bit more appropriate. Predecessor is looking to be more aimed at a NA/EU audience. Overprime looks like it's going to be focusing more on the Asian market, which makes sense considering that Overprime is being made by a company from South Korea. And if I recall correctly, Predecessor is out of the UK, I think is where Omeda Studios, I do believe the name is. Don't quote me on any of that. I'm a lot better at in-game stuff than I am that kind of thing, so I would not be the one to quote on that. But looks like I'm going to be getting a gank here from my Rampage. Gideon uses his teleport to get away. Howie damage is pretty good, not quite as impressive as in Overprime. I would say the overall burst damage in Overprime is higher than it is in Predecessor. So if you like a slower pace of game, I know a lot of people are like, bro, Overprime games took so long. Please don't be a slower pace of game. I happen to like slower paces of game. That's just for me personally. There's no sprint button. So there's no sprinting around this map. Not only is there no sprint button. Wow, that is really good damage. Oh, it didn't hit him. Not only is there no sprint button, but the map is also bigger, and there's no portals like there are in Overprime either. So rotating from one side of the map to the other in this game is a like executive decision that you have to make to rotate all the way. It takes a second in order to make that rotation. If you want to go all the way around the map, you have to make a very active choice to do so. You could miss out on farm. This is a much larger map. It includes 2 towers, then the inhibitor, compared to 1 tower, then the inhibitor. All of these walls are invisibility walls, meaning that you do not have vision on the other side of these. So the opportunity from ganks from the jungler, we just kind of talked about how the map is bigger, so it takes a longer time. But once you get within the range, the actual ganking process is a lot easier because you can only have out so many wards. Because your ward is just a thing on your character. You can't just like go buy more. So you've got to wait for the cooldown of your ward to come up, which means I don't have vision. Basically, they're here and here and here and here and here and here and here. Mid lane is extra crazy with this. The side lanes aren't quite as bad. I played a game over in duo lane. The sidelines aren't as nutty with the gank potential. But in mid lane in particular, like you run right through here and all of a sudden you are in a very spooky spot. I don't know what kind of buff you're gonna give. I'm gonna kill him. Seems to give me an attack speed bonus. I'm gonna rotate all the way over to duo lane. Speaking of ganking, go for a little gank of my own. I'm gonna go for the ulti. This should start locking in on people. Give me a couple of kills. Throw down the Q while I'm in the air. Looks like I grabbed myself a kill. Now I'm gonna try to rotate all the way around the back on this. Backing takes about 10 seconds. I presume that Gideon is gonna walk right into me. He doesn't even know that I'm here. Throw down the ability. Totally missed it, but I'm gonna knock him back right into me with the mind and grab that kill anyway. Now, what is that rotation worth it? Great question. I have absolutely no idea. Literally no idea if it was worth it, but it feels good to PvP. What are these leggings do? 80 magical power plus pen, dealing damage to an enemy hero with an ability. Okay, now we get the level up. So this is, we've ranked our max level of our starter item. I'm gonna do this one. This gives pen cooldown. The last time I did this one and I did not like it as much. That's a stasis. I want a shield, magical life steal, and movement speed. Give me that one. Dealing damage to an enemy hero and ability grants 100 movement speed. Abilities deal an extra 20% magical damage to enemies below 40% health. Okay. There is a lot more items in Predecessor than Overprime. If you go look at these are all tier 3 items down here. Look at all of these items. There are so many items. I'm just kind of doing the auto builds right now because Lord knows I don't have enough time to try to learn the character and the map and the builds all at once. Luckily, there is this, oh, nice try in the pull. There is this kind of system that you can see where they have the recommended items. They'll show you the individual items on the right-hand side that build into them, but you can just kind of click on these and spam them. You just double-click, and it'll just buy whatever you can buy for that particular item. And it's honestly kind of nice. It's not something that you're going to want to do once you start getting into the game and you get competitive about it and all that kind of stuff. But as far as just wanting to get into the game and play and start to learn the map and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to just go for the ulti. Wow. Wow. That damage is really good. I actually am going to probably die here, but it doesn't. Oh, I got stuck. I'm going to pop my 2 for the bonus movement speed, and the steal came by and saved me. Okay. But I actually do like the system for just helping new players. Like, I'm a new player right now. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm just clicking. Every time I back, I click the item. I don't even have to look to the right. Couldn't afford anything. Oh, well. It is what it is. So I do actually like that inventory system. The UI is a bit large. There's a lot of information that they're trying to get across on the screen. You can see the filters on the left-hand side. You can click the filters and filter items that way. I still think that the item store UI is clunky and the tab UI is horrible. Genuinely, my least favorite part of the game so far is this tab UI. It covers your whole screen. It's very all up in your business, and most of it's kind of unnecessary. On the other hand, though, my worst complaint about the game is literally the tab UI. That's a good sign. Oh, this is actually a different color? Hey, bonus shield, let's go. Hip. Hip. What? Okay. Oh, that's tough. Wow. I'm not 100% sure what just happened. I took 573 damage from, you can see the left-hand side, kind of right behind me. This is where like where you took damage from comes from. 573 damage from something called hack. I don't know if that's an auto attack or not. I also spam clicked my missile a lot right there, and I'm not sure whether I was CC'd or what, but it was not going off. But like I said, my least favorite part about the game so far is genuinely the tab screen, which is a good sign for the game. It is playing very smoothly. I'm already having a lot of fun. The game is aesthetically very pleasing. And I do believe that if you were a fan of old Paragon, that you will also like this, which is important. But I do also think that it has a broader appeal than necessarily just that. I think Paragon had a couple of features, card system, that really ended up hindering its progress as a MOBA. Do a little. That ability, I gotta say, auto locking on is kind of wild. Ability is pretty hard to aim right off the bat. Like how I would say Gideon's abilities felt. I played a game of Gideon. His abilities felt kind of like traditional MOBA. You got like your circle and your line-based ability. Howie's almost playing out a little bit more like an FPS. Okay, this costs 1,200 gold to get 40 magical power, and I've got almost 1,200, so I'm just gonna wait here. I'm just gonna spam. Got it. Can I pop my Q in the air? Dang, no, I can't. I was like, if you could launch out of base, pop the Q and hover in the air with Howie, that would be baller. But I can't, alas. Probably would have been a little too strong, but still would have been cool. Could have been better. Could have been better. Last hitting gonna be very important. You can see that the last hit minions do get that little red filter on them, which just means that they are last hittable, which is nice. I appreciate that. I think that's a good feature. It looks like there is a little camp on the left and right hand side that pops up some form of random buff for you. It's kind of nice. I think enemies are allowed to take, oh my Chimera damage. Just keeping myself in the air for as long as humanly possible against Chimera so he can't hit me. Wow. That man has got a very high damage output. Although the fact that I was like, you know what? I bet I can just stay in the air and he won't be able to hit me. That felt very good. Like as an outplay, being able to be like, well, I can't fight him, so what if I just sat in the air so he couldn't fight me either, especially because I managed to get in the range of my tower. One of my favorite things about video games is when you have an idea and then you do it and it works. You're like, I wonder if I can just hover in the air so he can't hit me. And then you just look down upon him and it's like, yeah, hit me with those OP melee autos again. I dare you.
An enemy inhibitor is under siege.
So it looks like Howie actually might have a little counter potential there against him. What do you do? Bonus movement speed buff. All right. The little fang tooth over here, when you kill it, it gives you a permanent buff, I do believe. Jungle River buffs last 50% longer. You can see that each team has also killed a fang tooth. I'm not 100% sure how you see the effects that people got, because there's a ton of different effects that you can get from killing it, and it's pretty easy to kill. So you got to watch out for that. The Over Prime seems to be much more difficult to kill than that fang tooth is. Kind of akin to the Gold Fury and Fire Giant and Smite, although I would say that it's much weaker than a Gold Fury and then much stronger than a Fire Giant. So it's more on the extreme side. It's our good friend Chimera again. Yeah, this time we had a lot more CC ready for him. He kind of just got wrecked, actually. He kind of got wrecked. I will say I'm going through mana quite quickly. I wonder if there is a Book of Thoth style of item that just gives you a ton of mana. I bet there is. I would bet that there is. I'm also kind of spam firing abilities. The Q cooldown on Howie is very low. Not the easiest ability in the world to hit. In fact, quite a difficult ability to hit, if I do say so myself. Much harder to hit here in Predecessor than his Q was to hit in Overprime. In Overprime, his Q was a pretty big radius, and I would say it maybe did twice as much damage, maybe 3 times as much damage. Certainly not nearly as overpowered of a character in Predecessor as he is in Overprime.
Enemy towers destroyed.
Funny enough, I would actually say that Predecessor and Overprime don't play most similarly to each other. Like, I know that they're using the same assets, and so visually the characters are similar. Wow, that is a really good ability. Whoa, messy. Let's calm down. But as far as the gameplay is concerned, I would actually say that Predecessor is playing more similar to like a Smite, and Overprime played more similarly to like a League of Legends. And a part of that is their target audience, like we said. Predecessor is more aimed at an NAEU audience. And then, oh, I couldn't. Wow, the towers hit really hard. Woo, 1,000 ability. Two hits from the inhibitor, 1,000. Inhibitors are not to be trifled with in this game. And then with Overprime being more focused on the Asian market, I think it makes sense that it plays a little bit more like League of Legends, because they're kind of trying to gather more of that as their target audience. While above 50% mana, you gain magical penetration. But below it, you gain 1% of your maximum mana as regen per cycle. Well, that will basically solve all of my problems. So thank you, game, for recommending that item. As far as if I were to prefer one or the other, I don't even know if I do. I would say that they both have pros and cons. The auto-attacking in Overprime feels more rewarding than the auto-attacking in Predecessor. There's something like that has more of an oomph to it. Stability-wise, Predecessor is winning all over. The game is running so much more smoothly. It's like, it's not even close. And that's a really big one for me. Coming from Smite, where the servers are, it's really nice that I'm just playing and I'm not thinking about like the fact that the server is freaking out or that the client's freaking out. And now some of that's liable to change. Like this is still an early access test, and like who knows, maybe if a bunch of people hop on, all of a sudden everything's gonna go to poo-poo. But for now, it ain't. And I am simply going to choose to be thankful for that, because Lord knows. Lord knows. Ding! I love that I could just like hold myself in the air a little bit longer. That was so sick. That was so sick. Like I was on my way down. I was like, I know for a fact this guy's about to be here and we can just pop him. Wait it out in the air. Boop, go pop him. Howie's kit feels really high skill cap, which is fun. I love me a high skill cap character. Oh, orange is attack speed. Green is health, shield, whatever it was. It was, I think gray was movement speed. And I'm out of mana. So this is the Orb Prime. You can see that he takes a hot minute to kill. We got 4 people beating on him and we're still doing it. Definitely a difficult objective. Takes a hot minute to slay. And he does give a very large temporary buff. Very large, but temporary buff.
An enemy inhibitor.
Highly enjoying both games though. I think Overprime was very, very fun while it was going. And I think that Predecessor is very, very fun. Predecessor seems like they seem to have taken 2 different design routes. And I think that Predecessor, when I say kind of the design routes that they've gone, I think gamers are going to appreciate it. Predecessor seems to be going for a quality over quantity approach. There is less heroes in the game. There are going to be less total features in the game than Overprime has. Overprime is going to have significantly more heroes. They're going to have things like ranked available. Just generically more features. But I think a lot of people would in fact prefer higher quality, less features over lesser quality, more features. And I would say that Predecessor is currently up. What a great pull. Holy, you love to see a good Nova play. I would say that Predecessor is in fact winning the quality battle. Because sometimes somebody tries to win the quality battle, right? And then what actually ends up happening is they just end up not adding anything to the game and the quality is still schmeh. And that doesn't help out anybody. But Predecessor seems to have gone the route of taking it slower on adding more things to the game. And instead, they're adding things slower to the game and making sure that they're in a pristine condition, with the one notable exception being this tab screen, which is also the end screen, which takes up your whole screen. And it's the only part of the game that I feel like is lacking the quality over the quantity. But on the whole, Predecessor looking very, very fun. $10 early access starting December First, you'll be able to get your hands in this game. Like I said, it'll be casuals only, no rank queue, 20 heroes, but a new hero every month during early access, which is planned to be about, looks like 5 or 6 months. So by the time it comes out of early access, around Q2 of 2023, should be around 25, 26 heroes in the game. And that's when you can also expect, I would imagine, things like ranked mode to be added and starting to get more competitive on that front. But on the whole, highly recommend the game. Very fun. It'll be very interesting to see the interest of the game, both in terms of like Steam, Epic Games player base, and also viewer base on Steam and YouTube and that kind of stuff, to see how many people are interested in the game and if and when it will become like viable for like content creators as well. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.